Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Bitcoin saved my life. Now, how did Bitcoin save my life? First, we have to go to where my life used to be. When I was born, I grew up in my grandma's house. Not for very long, because my father, he started some businesses. By around 12 years old, I was living in a mansion, okay? Balcony, beachfront, bayfront, not beachfront, bayfront, but right across was the beach. We go to the beach every single day in the boat, you know, living like that. But as all things in life start, they can also end. Around 2008, during the financial crisis, the mansion was gone. Before it was gone, we were living with no money, living freezing cold, New York, middle of the winter. My fish tank is frozen, ice, jacket, shirt, jacket, 2-3 blankets. Horrible. But that's okay. That's the things that you gotta go through in life sometimes to understand. I never wanted to work for nobody, okay? Working for somebody is not a good route. You know, you're getting paid for your time. You want your time to pay you. You gotta figure that out. That comes to investing. But I was working every day, recycling, jumping in garbages, taking metal out of garbages. That's how it started, at least, until I built it up. But, you know, that's how I started my life, is jumping in the garbage. You know, living in New York, doing whatever I could to make money. You know how it is if you're from the United States or you're from New York or whatever, you know? So that's how it started. But I always knew that there was something much better. You know, why am I jumping in the garbage every day for $100, for $200-$300, for whatever it made me, you know? Jumping in the garbage. You understand that? But those are the sacrifices one needs to make sometimes to make money and have their freedom, okay? So I always heard about trading. Tried trading, lost money. I never heard about investing. I didn't really understand about investing. Investing is a long-term process. It's not trading, okay? So when I heard about Bitcoin, I really didn't understand it. I kind of dismissed it. And a couple years later, somebody else told me about Bitcoin. And I looked at it, and this is the time I was thinking about trading, learning about trading, and I heard hodl, okay? So I said, oh wow, look at the price over time. I need to invest in Bitcoin, hold, and my money will grow. Okay, so this isn't exactly how Bitcoin saved my life. We're gonna get into that, but this is how it started, okay? So as I started to learn about Bitcoin and understand it more, I realized that Bitcoin is not just an investment, that it is actually the future of money. It provides a lot of freedom to yourself. And let's face it, the dollar, fiat, whatever you want to call it, is inflating. It only gets devalued, while Bitcoin works in the opposite. It only appreciates. So I held Bitcoin for a couple of years, and I realized that why am I jumping in garbages? Why am I struggling, hustling, doing all this stuff? Why am I paying $5,000 a month to live in the ghetto in an apartment in the basement? Why would I be doing this stuff? So I said, you know what? I have enough money. Let me take a little vacation, and I'll learn a new language. I'll learn Spanish, because, you know, there was a lot of Latino workers, a lot of Latino contacts that bought my recycling stuff. So I said, let me leave and learn Spanish, you know, challenge myself, take a sabbatical, they say. So I went to Colombia, and that was the first place that I ended up going, which ended up being my favorite country that I went to out of a few countries. And well, I'll name them whatever for you. I went to Peru, I went to Ecuador, I went to Colombia, I went to Costa Rica, I went to Panama, I've been to Puerto Rico before, I've been to Mexico, but when I was younger, you know, a couple of places in the United States, whatever. So Colombia was my favorite. It was the most free, it was the cheapest. You know, instead of paying $5,000-$6,000 a month to live in New York and struggling, I could pay $1,000 a month and live free. And how did all of this happen? How did all of this happen? Because of Bitcoin. Only because of Bitcoin. You guys need to learn about investing. Oh, I don't have no money. You make $1, put 25 cents aside. Invest in something, you know, if you can't invest in Bitcoin, invest in a cheaper cryptocurrency for now that is trending, that's going up. You know, we will talk about that later. But, so guys, you know, people don't understand. The world is a messed up place, okay? But Bitcoin does fix a lot, and it can fix your life if you invest over time.